Just becoming an artist, that's a talent that I guess I always had, but didn't realize I had it to the extent that I had. But I had my display. When I had my display, I had the North Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
I used both sides.
You're kidding.
I had more than 120 pictures, and that wasn't really all of them. I didn't put out my beginning art at all.
Wow.
But I had a girlfriend, Colleen Schmida. She was actually my massage therapist. She put these together. When she heard you were all coming, she brought these over quick. These are a picture of the pictures of my, she was going to make me a portfolio. And then she found 3 boxes like this, and she grabbed them because of the roses on top. It all started probably when I came. I got a rose from Des Moines Diocese wishing me well and thanking me for being in the diocese, as they do at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And that rose was sitting on that table a long time, and it was a week old, and it was still sitting there, very nice. So I thought I'd better sketch it before it dies. So I sketched it, and then it became my, I guess, kind of a masterpiece for me, or a mistress piece. Because I made one for each of my classmates. We celebrated 50th Jubilee last year as School Sisters of St. Francis. I had a gathering with my family. I gave each of my family, the siblings that were living, there were 7 still living, so I gave each of them a rose, and gave roses away as gratitude for the pastor that had invited me to the parish. And it was like a whole history. I gave away roses for a long time. And come back, I don't know. This is my mistake rose. This is a mistaken rose. As the little kids paint, they sometimes overpaint. I know working in Montessori, you would want them to stop, and yet they wanted more paint and more paint, and then they'd be black, and they just destroy the whole thing. And I was overpainting. I got the wrong color in with what I was doing, so I went and I ran it underneath the faucet and left it dry, and this is what it dried as.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's like, to me, it's a plant coming out of the ocean,
Yeah.
And the pelican is a symbol of church for me, because the pelican, takes care of its young from its own strength, from its own food. But a sign or a quote way back in the 60s was "Bloom where you're planted." I guess that's a song. I don't know the song, but there was a banner, and so that thought came to mind, and I thought, well, bloom where we're planted. And that was about a week before my display. So I showed it to Glenda. She had it in her office at that time, and I said, can I put that out in front to, welcome people to come to the display? But that's my mistake. And my last mistake was this one. I was making I was just going to make a rose, kind of like I did in the beginning, just to show what I had. And then it wasn't going to be that. And so I just kind of covered the whole thing. And that's, which I think is very pretty in its own way. It's like 3 flowers together. So you take mistakes and you live with them. Right? Life is, one of my favorite quotes is, you want to sit down?
No, we want to hear you talk.
Okay, I do.
Why don't you go ahead and sit down if you like?
I'm okay standing. I just feel company should sit down, but you're welcome to sit down. There's coffee. Would you like coffee? Or you just, okay.
No, you keep going.
So one of my quotes from the 60s when I was very young in the community was, life is a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. And I had a good friend that about 10 or 15 years down the way, I guess I was kind of upset with certain things that were happening, and so I was complaining about it, and she said, what's your favorite quote? And I said, life is a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. And she said, start living it. You've gotten involved in the problems of it all. Either do something to do something about it, or keep your mouth shut, or do something. And I joined the board that year, and I didn't like that. That wasn't me, but anyhow, I had to learn what that position was like, and I'm grateful for other sisters that take that job. So anyhow, that's one of my quotes. John, when he talked to me the first time, it was like being positive. I have learned of late through Gallup University that one of my top 5 signature strengths is positivity.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that for a long time, but I do now. And another is connectedness, and another is developer.